3 years ago, I was like, I'm done with courses. I burned everything to the ground. I took my email list from 20,000 down to 4,000. I was like, I'm only doing one-on-one agency work. Quickly burned out on that, believe it or not, big shocker. I started evaluating like the business as a whole. And I was like, well, where was the issue with like why I was like really starting over and over again? And what I identified was that I was doing stuff I hated. And I started building a really nice team around me. So now I can do the things that I want to do.
Hey, my friend, welcome to the Art of Online Business podcast. My name is Rick Mulready, and I'm an online business coach. I'm an ads expert, and most importantly, I'm a dad. And this show is where we help established online course creators and coaches create more profit, more impact with less hustle. All right, let's get into it. Hey, what is up, my friends? Welcome to the Art of Online Business podcast. I'm your host, Rick Mulready, and I just want to share a little something with you. And this may sound super bougie, but so there's my favorite coffee shop. For those of you who don't know, I am a coffee snob. I just love coffee, and I just love the experience of drinking coffee, which that in and of itself sounds super bougie. But anyway, my favorite coffee shop here in San Diego is called James Coffee, and they make a honey cinnamon latte. And I always thought it was like specific to James Coffee, but apparently that's a well-known drink. I had no idea. And so, we have a really nice coffee machine, espresso machine, I should say, here at home. And I was like, I'm going to try making my own honey cinnamon lattes. And, holy cow, it's amazing. Like my whole world is opened up now that I can make a honey cinnamon latte at home. And I know this disappoints so many of you that are like, dude, why aren't you just drinking, like straight up espresso or black coffee, which I love, by the way, both those things. But I don't know. This has just been a major breakthrough. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you, but you're welcome. All right. I'm so excited about today's episode because this person is he really is one of my favorite people. I've known him for years. We used to be in a mastermind together, and it's been so fun to watch his journey over the years. And Zach Spuckler has done so many things, as you're about to hear when we dive into this episode. And it's been just so fun to watch his journey. Zach is now a member of my Accelerator coaching program. And one of the things that we're working on is growing and scaling the membership that you're about to hear about here today. And he's already done an amazing job growing his membership. And I love the name of the membership. It's called Not Your Average Membership. And he has taken this membership to a 6-figure run rate for the membership in about 5 months. And so I asked him to come on here to share how he's done that, like what's gone into it, and how he has launched it, why it is a membership with an actual mission, where he's very clear on who this is for and who it's not for, and how he's leading with his values in creating this membership. And so we break down how he launched it, why it is always open. It's not an open close membership like you often hear about. We talk about a paid challenge. And Zach is very well known as like the challenge guy, if you will. Super, super good at challenges. And so he breaks down how he has leveraged a paid challenge to launch his membership, how often he does that. And then we also get into a topic, and I was so glad that he was open and willing to talk about this. His churn rate has been fairly high when it comes to his membership. And so we talk about what he's doing to reduce that churn rate, and how long it's going to take to see results from that, et cetera, et cetera. Zach is an open book, and he delivers on all that here for you today. So without further ado, let's go hang out with Zach Spuckler. How are you, my friend? Welcome to the podcast.
I am just so excited to be here. It's a good day for a good day.
And you were in my neck of the woods for a while. How long were you living in Southern California?
We were in Southern California for 2.5 years, give or take.
And now you're back in Ohio, correct?
Yeah, now we're back in Ohio. Families, nieces, nephews, they kind of missed us. They wanted, we're in Ohio. I'll say
It's it's a
that.
heck of a lot cheaper there, right?
Oh my gosh, so much cheaper. Like, groceries and gas have gotten a little more expensive. Like what we were paying in California, we're now paying in Ohio. But I also know in California, it's gotten like even worse.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
So
no,
when you went back to Ohio at a good time.
exactly.
So you're really known for challenges. You're known for ads, and you have created this really cool membership that I want to dive into here today. You also do a lot of other different, promotions in your business and
Yeah.
offers and so forth. What I want to dive into here today is you've created this membership in your business that you're on a 6-figure run rate basically in your membership. And it's not that old, like within the past 6 months. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, it's officially 7 months old on the 18th, I believe, of March
Okay.
2022.
Okay. March 18th, 7 months old.
Yep.
And you've been at this 6-figure run rate on your membership for a little while now.
Yeah, for a couple months.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. So with that, let's add some context. You've been doing this a while, meaning
Yes.
not a membership. I mean, you've been doing the membership a while, but you've been in the online business space for a long time. So let's give some context there and let people know for, that don't know your background, sort of what is your background and kind of bring us up to where you are today.
Yeah. So I always jokingly say it started when I was like 12, and I know that because I used to do like online surveys. This is like super old school. I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, but used to get paid to like fill out surveys and click on ads. And like I had this whole fake persona, which my family still jokes about to this day, because every once in a while they'll get mail for Jameston Tomista. He does not exist. He's not a real person.
What's the name?
Jameston Tomista.
That's amazing.
I used an online name generator back in like
Oh, did you really?
2007. But I started kind of like really being enamored with this idea of like financial freedom, being able to just make money out of nothing. And I did that for a number of years. I remember when I was like 17, my parents were like, hey, like, where are you getting this money from? And I was like, oh yeah, I made like $17,000 clicking on ads. And they were like, okay, this is a little bizarre,
Yeah.
but
What kind of scam are you running over
what
here?
kind of scam are you running here? It's gotten more legitimate over the years. I've done all kinds of stuff from like direct sales, freelance writing, website flipping, domain sales, affiliate marketing. I've tried everything. And back in 2015, I had been running a food blog for a couple years, and I had sold some online courses. I was doing some ad revenue. I had even played around with like, not Kickstarter, it's called Indiegogo, but I had done like an Indiegogo campaign, which is very similar to Kickstarter for a cookbook. And it was going really well. And I kind of, at that point, back in 2013, 14, kind of looked over the last 10 years and was like, what is like the driving force, right? Because we've known each other for a while. I'm a jumper. I jump from thing to thing. And I was like, what is the common trend here? And for me, it was marketing. I was like, I may not like really always be like enamored with making a recipe, but I love the idea of marketing that recipe. And so in 2015, I said, I'm going to start a marketing company. I don't really know exactly how I'm going to do it, but our principles from day one were we were just going to be honest, transparent, and tell people, look, I'm not making $1 million, but I built this blog up. It's getting 25,000 views a month. We're getting some ad revenue. We've sold some courses. We run some Facebook ads. And, we started saying like, we got on Periscope, super dating myself now, but we got on Periscope.
Well, that's another thing that you're known for, right?
Like, yeah, which I was known for Periscope for a while. And we were like, look, we're just going to show you what we've been doing. And at the time I was landing Facebook ads clients via Periscope because I had learned a little bit about ads from my blog. And we started doing one-on-one services. And after booking several clients, people were like, well, how are you booking these clients? And so we made a Periscope course. We took that to 6 figures. Then people started asking, well, how are you running the Facebook ads? And we made that course and took it to 6 figures. And then people were saying, well, how are you launching these courses? And we were doing challenges, which were a little more novel a few years ago. And we created a course around challenges. We took that to, I want to say around $400,000 or $500,000. And then in the interim, I was doing coaching, consulting, And then it would have been about 3 years ago, I was like, I'm done with courses. I burned everything to the ground. I took my email list from 20,000 down to 4,000. I was like, I'm only doing one-on-one agency work, and quickly burned out on that, believe it or not, big shocker. And I started evaluating like the business as a whole. And I was like, well, where was the issue with like why I was like really starting over and over again? And what I identified was that I was doing stuff I hated. And I started building a really nice team around me. So now I can do the things that I want to do. Like we have a coaching program, we have the membership, and like the membership, all I do is check in and make the content. Like I don't schedule the calls. I don't send out the member roundups. I don't, or like the weekly roundup. I don't even check to see the new posts. I actually get a Slack message every morning from my team that's like, go reply to these posts. And so after doing that and building a really nice team around me, we now have the membership. We have some boot camps that we do. We have the agency side of things. We still have the agency side of things. We've just taken our client roster down to a much more manageable number. And that's what we do now. We just really like, I think the biggest compliment that I've gotten from my team is like, I messaged them a few months ago and I was like, does everything just seem really smooth lately? And Jessica, who's like my right hand, was like, it does. Don't jinx it, but it definitely feels like we've got a groove going. And that's how we ended up here. We're just kind of grooving and moving, and everything just feels not easy all the time, but definitely a lot lighter and easier than it did when we burned it all to the ground. So that's my life story, since you asked for it, and feel free to probe away.
It's been fun to watch that journey of yours. And because when we first met, you were doing like the jumping around. You said something really, really key there that I want to make sure that we don't just fly by. And you said the common theme to when I look back from when I was jumping from thing to thing to thing was that I wasn't happy in doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that so many people can relate to, because we oftentimes do spend too much time with something, even though it might be making a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And you just mentioned, you threw out dollar numbers, you were making really good money, but yet there was still a level of unhappiness there based on what you were focusing your time on.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun, especially like the past, say 2 years, where I've watched you really focus on values and going against the grain of what is quote unquote the norm in the online marketing space, which I absolutely love. And, you talk a lot about, higher prices versus what's often talked about in the space. And again, going against the grain for really, really great reasons, which I love. And so now you have, I took some notes there. You've got your membership.
Yep.
You've got your coaching program.
Yep.
And you have an agency, but yet smaller, very manageable, select clients.
Yep.
Agency meaning you're running Facebook ad campaigns. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Facebook ads agency.
Okay. Well, so let's stop right there for a second. I know for a fact that people are listening right now are going to reach out to you to inquire about that. So number one, are you looking for clients? Number two, if you are, what type of clients are you looking to work with?
Yeah, great question. So we are booked up through about mid-May. As of recording, it's mid-March. So we're booked up through mid-May. I would venture to guess that by May, we'll probably be booked out through mid to late June. People love to launch May, June. So I'm guessing we'll probably be a little busy, but we like to work with people who have a proven course or coaching program. So you've sold at least $10,000 worth of it. You've got an active budget for your launch of at least $5,000 plus management fees. And we want people who are like open and receptive to testing. That's a really like unquantifiable one. But if you're like, my ads have to work from the jump right away in the first 24 hours, probably not a good fit. We will test and we will do everything we can. We always tell people, like on our sales calls, we say legally, morally, ethically, we can't promise you anything, except that we will show up professionally. We have the experience and we will do everything we can to get you the best results. So if that sounds like you, feel free to reach out and we can let you know if we have any openings.
I love it. And so are you focusing just on launch campaigns, or is it evergreen?
Yeah, we do evergreen and launch campaigns. We find
Okay.
the mass majority of our clients come through a launch and then go, oh my gosh, this was so great. How do I keep working with you? Which is a compliment to my team, not me.
So, so yes, I mean, and I do want to talk about your team because you made really great reference there to, as you were going through these different changes, you've built this great team around you.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about that because you mentioned for the membership that you have, a few yet really, really important responsibilities, obviously, when it comes to the membership, but the team is taking care of the rest of the deliverables, if you will, when
Yeah.
it comes to the membership. So when it comes to the so first of all, what's the membership called?
Yeah. So our membership is called Not Your Average Membership.
I love it. Not your average membership. So if it is June 17th, do I have to wait until September 30th to get into it?
Nope. Our membership is open 24/7. You can go to the website right now and enroll. You can go to the website tomorrow and enroll. Go to the website in a month and enroll. It's always open.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm being sarcastic right now because I know, like, why did you decide? Why? Because everyone always talks about it, except for me here on the podcast. Like, why aren't you launching it? Why don't you have an open close period?
Yeah.
Why? What went into the decision of making it like, look, like it's open. We're here for you when you're ready.
So we are sometimes are a little tongue in cheek, but like one of the things that we hear in the online space is like the three I's, like, oh, I want impact, influence, and income, right? And it's funny because people will be like, I just have this massive goal to help millions of people, and I'm gonna, my goal is. I remember there was somebody who spoke at our mastermind. I don't remember who, but I remember them saying like, our goal is to impact 1 million people, and I remember thinking, what does that even mean? And for reference, this is a mastermind we were in, not your mastermind.
Mm-hmm. And I know who you're talking about too.
I cannot remember who it was, but that's okay. We don't have to name drop.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, how is that even quantifiable, right? And so our thing is like, if one of my goals, which it is this year, is to really reach and support more people, how can I do that if I'm like, oh, you started your business or you're in a season of your business where you need help and it's June, sucks to suck, but you have to wait till September to get my help. Right.
Right.
And I get it. Like, I'm being a little tongue in cheek because there's nothing wrong with launch models. We do promotions. Yeah. We have launch models in our business. Like there's nothing wrong with it. But if my core offer isn't accessible 95% of the year, I am limiting my impact. I might make more income because I'm condensing it into a period and I'm leveraging scarcity and all this stuff. But like, if one of my primary goals really is to influence and help more people, then people need to be able to come to me when they're ready. And that really was the primary driver of that decision. Now, what I will say is that we still do launches for it, and we'll do like limited time bonuses or special live classes when you enroll in a certain period. And then we give those to everybody inside the membership. So like there's incentive, like, and we don't even do like crazy incentives. It'll just be like, hey, we're doing this call on Thursday. The recording will be in the membership, but if you want to be there live, enroll this week. And people really, really seem to resonate with that based on the numbers we've seen in our promotions.
Yeah, I love that. And that's a reason why, I've talked about it here on the podcast is that Accelerator is open enrollment. It's ongoing, right? It's not like, oh, wait, you need help. And, the same thing, like you need help June 30th. Well, you got to wait till September, right? And it's just like, yeah, it is a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's also like, hey, I think that speaks to, a big piece of the values that we both, live by is that we're here to help people when that person is ready.
Yep.
And, have the kind of impact that we're looking to have on a deeper level. Like, okay, cool. Like enrollment's open, it's ongoing, it's rolling. So why the membership? Why? Because you'd mentioned, you have an ads course, you've got your challenge course still. Why did you decide to create the membership?
Yeah. So for selfish reasons, like we wanted recurring revenue in the business, right? Mm-hmm. There is with a service-based business, there's just always a certain level of unpredictability, right? Yep. And I think especially online, we kind of get sold this bill of goods like, oh, just do this and you can get rid of the revenue yo-yos. Just do that. And we were like, well, the only thing that like we really feel confident we'll get rid of those yo-yos is a membership, And that was reason, like that's the selfish reason. The client facing reason is like, and this is like, I feel a little like braggy saying it, but like we make great content. Like, and I truly believe that we make some of the best content on advertising and training. And I know that because we get the feedback from our people saying like, I've tried a million times, I've never gotten leads, and now I'm getting leads. And that takes like days, not months or weeks. And we kind of said like, why is this information so gated when some of it is really like conceptually basic, right? Like if you can go out there and people be like, oh yeah, I'll teach you ads. It's $2,000. And people are like, oh yeah, ads are the secret sauce. I'm going to go learn ads and then I'm going to have the money to do it. Right. And it's like, you spend all your money, you spend your $2,000 and I know you've experienced this, Rick, because I think we talked about this in the past, that people will buy your high ticket courses. And I had high ticket courses. So again, I'm not dogging on higher ticket courses, but people will buy your $1,000, $2,000 course and go, but how much do I need to spend on ads? Yeah. You're like, well, that defeats the purpose because now you just spent all the money you had to learn what you need to learn. And business is not free, right? We hear things like bootstrap and organic and, make it work. But the reality is it costs money to be in business. And so our thing was like, how can we make something that really gives people a system, a process, something that brings in more leads and revenue than it takes out of the business in an accessible way? And for us, it was a total no-brainer that it's a membership because we can do that. We can put people on a success path, which we've just started building thanks to you. We can give people accessible information. And another selfish reason is that we find, contrary to what the market says, like the conventional wisdom is like, oh, the more someone pays, the more committed they are. And the more somebody pays, the less of a problem they are. We have experienced the complete opposite. At $49 a month, it's not hard to over deliver. People are constantly impressed, even with very, I don't want to say superficial, but very like accessible or entry level information. Now we have advanced information in there, but it's like, what kills me is that people get excited about the simple stuff and the complex stuff. They're like, oh, I may or may not be there, but it's like, that's what I love. And for me personally, that has taken so much pressure off of me because when you run, we did 1 year, like it was $12,000 a year. We broke it into 6 months, mastermind. And I just felt so much pressure to perform. I had like the highest maintenance clients I ever had. They'd be like, well, I'm not available at that time. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but I can't do 5 calls a week. Right. And here I've had that happen one time. It was international based. We added an international call. And instead of people being like, I'm still not available, people were like, I can't believe you're adding another call. This is amazing. This is worth everything. Like, I just find that people are so grateful versus when I would spend more, people would be like, you owe me. Like, I paid you, you owe me. And it's like, I like joking to say it's like Netflix. Like nobody at $20 a month is calling Netflix and being like, I didn't really like that show. Right. But if it costs 20 grand to watch Netflix, people would be like, let me give you all my opinions. Right. And so for us, that's really the driving factors behind the membership is like, it's less pressure for us. It's recurring revenue for our business and it's wildly accessible to the people that need it.
I love it. And so number one, I think and this is something that we've talked about within the framework of Accelerator. Who is this for? Who's the membership for?
Yeah. So our membership is really geared towards, we don't like to say beginner in the sense of time, but we like to say beginner online businesses. Like you've generated some money or you have your idea and now you're like, what do I do to get in front of people? We find that most people have done something organically up to this point and they're not disillusioned, but they understand that the organic is only going to take them so far and that it's a bigger picture, long play. Generally, they're making between $1,000 to $5,000 a month. Of course, there's always exceptions, but basically what they're looking to do is grow their email list, consistently sell their products, and have a clear path on what they're going to do next. That is like our perfect customer says. The running joke is that our perfect customer says, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs say that, but realistically, it's within the confines of like, I've taken the courses, I've done the things, I'm tired of the, it's all in your head or just manifest your way to the top. I want somebody to say, click this button, do this thing, test it out. And one little caveat I'll put on this is it's for people who are open to try things, because we say this explicitly in our membership, explicitly on our sales pages. Like, the goal with our membership is not that you make $1 million every month, though we have people that have done it with our low ticket products. The goal is to get you in a place where you're willing to try new things. So like 1 month we did Reels. It's like, maybe you don't want to run Reels in your business, but are you willing to just try them for 30 days to see if it serves the grander vision? 1 month was Facebook ads. Maybe you're not going to run Facebook ads forever, but are you willing to try for 30 days to see if it impacts your business in a positive way? So that's our thing, is it's like, it's one specific strategy a month that see if it works. And if it does, or you need to modify it, great. And if it doesn't work for you, no big deal. You've got another month, because business is a long game, you know?
And that's really key there, what you just said. So many people want that. I'm so glad you bring that up, Geez. Like, so many people, they're like, hey, I'm doing a launch in September and I need, this many leads or whatever. And I'm not doing much of anything to build my list or
Right.
to generate leads. And so it's like, then there's like panic that starts to set in, and they think that there's like an overnight, solution.
Yeah.
And you're showing people that are in that phase of the business that you just mentioned that, hey, here are a whole bunch of things. And I'm so glad that you bring up was like, there's no one right way to do it.
Yeah.
I was asked a couple of years ago, like when it came to accelerators, like, why don't you just teach one way? All these other people are doing that. They're teaching like, okay, the way that you do this is through Evergreen, and they teach the Evergreen solution or whatever it might be. Right. And I was like, because there's not one way. Like, if I teach you one way to do something, I'm doing you a disservice, because you might hate that way, And so I love that that's what your membership is offering. Hey, all these things work, and here they are, how to do them correctly. You got to be willing to test and to see, number one, do you enjoy doing it? Number two, does it work for you? That sort of thing. So how did you get to such a great run rate within a matter of not many, like only what, like 4 to 5 months?
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is I think the biggest thing is that we really created a membership with a mission, with like a key message behind it. So in September of 2022, we launched our membership fully email based to get our first 100 members. No webinar, no challenge, no video series, no nothing. And we timed it with our podcast. So the podcast that I have was formerly the Heart, Soul, and Hustle podcast. We changed it to the Not Your Average Online Marketing Podcast, Not Your Average Membership. Clear theme here. And we like teased that something big was coming for about a week and a half. And we had built up our email list. We had about 7,000 people on our email list. So we had an audience. That is like definitely a key piece of the equation. But we just kind of like teased like, this is what it is and this is what it's about. And we led with the values of the membership. So this is not for people who, feel this way. This is for people who feel this way. And we really defined what is a not so average marketer. And for us, it comes down to a very simple definition: it's people who aren't willing to do the things that they don't like or enjoy just because somebody says it converts. And the best example I use is like, I hate them now, is like those automated webinars that are like starting in 15 minutes, every 15 minutes of all time. I'm actually doing 3 webinars at once, and it's like fake live. And you're like, it's so overplayed at this point that everybody knows. And you can't skip, fast forward, pause, rewind. It's like a terrible user experience. So we're like, you don't have to do those things to make money. Whatever everyone's saying you have to do, you don't have to do that. And a not average or a not so average marketer basically says like, I'm going to do it a way that feels good. I'm going to use marketing principles. But just because, insert guru here said cart open close is the way to do it, doesn't mean that's your way to do it.
Yeah. And so you had 7,000 people on your list.
Yes.
You did an email only open, if you will.
For
you
about
kind of teased what was
5 days. Yep.
Okay. And then you said that your goal, you say 100 people?
Yeah, we got 100 people in at $40 a month, and we did it as a founding member rate with the price going up to $49 after a certain date. So that was the first time that we really played with scarcity. But, anytime you launch something new, we like to do a founding member rate.
Sure. And then did you have a whole bunch of content in the membership at that point? Because a lot of
No.
people think like, oh, in order to launch my membership, I have to have all this content built out. What did it
Yeah.
look like when you launched it?
We had 3 bonuses in there, and that was it. That was all we had. We had no content. We had how to create a low ticket product. We had how to take your first product to 10K. And then we had the overview of what was coming the first month. That was it. And the low ticket product thing was a live recording of a 2-day event that we did, or a 1-day event. So it was about 5 hours of video. We spliced out the teaching from the Q&A and we just put it in the membership. And then the how to take your product to 10K was a 45-minute video training. And that's all that was in there. Now, what I will say is the day we opened Cart, the next day we dropped the first piece of content so that they could digest part of the first month if they joined in that first week, right? So that was everything.
Nice.
I mean, essentially 3 pieces of content.
Yeah. Did you let people know that?
Yes.
Like,
we're very transparent about that.
Yeah. And that's one thing. Another thing I love about you is that you're very transparent about things. Was there any kind of backlash from people? I would imagine not from your specific audience. And I mean that in the best way possibly, because you have such a great relationship with the people that you attract. But was anybody pissed off about it?
No, nobody said anything. Nobody was upset. Everybody was really great. And like I said, we were super transparent about it. And we tell people now, you actually retroactively get access to all the content when you join the membership. And that was we weren't sure about how that was going to be received, because people will be like, well, I paid for 6 months and now, Joe can join on month 7 and get access to all 6 months. But we have really leaned into when people ask us about that, because we've had a couple people ask like, well, why do you do that? And we've said, because you're paying for the community, the coaching, and the support. The content is the bonus material, right? You're paying to be in an atmosphere where you're going to do that stuff. And it's 1 activity a month. So if somebody's not joining on month 7 and going, well, I'll just watch all 6 months of content in the next 30 days and cancel. And if you are, good on you, you're not going to get the full experience, and that's fine with me. But people generally don't. And people want that retroactive content. So we've had some pushback on that, but nobody's ever explicitly been like, well, why did I pay when, so-and-so can join on month 6? No one's ever done that. We've just noticed people say, like, kind of be inquisitive. And we've always just handled it really honestly and directly.
Yeah, I love it. So when you launched it, you got about 100 people in.
Yep.
Right off the bat. So at $40 a month.
Yep.
Now, what's sort of the next? Because it's open at this point.
Yes.
Right. So what do you start to do to continue to promote enrollment?
So as the challenge guy, we felt that the next logical step was to run a challenge. So we actually did a paid challenge. We charged $10. We taught a month. We taught content from the month in the membership. We gave all of our members access to that. And we had a couple people say, well, like, why are you taking? And this was where the pushback was. A few people said, like, well, why can they pay $10 for something I'm paying $49 for? And we basically said, well, number one, there's going to be hundreds of people here. You still have intimate access. Number two, they're paying for the content. They're paying a quarter of what you're paying to get a quarter of what you get, right? So we wanted it to be an equitable exchange. But we did a 5-day challenge. It was $10, and it was basically how to set up your first Facebook ad. And then after that, it was like, oh, inside the membership, we have advanced Facebook ad strategies. And then this month, we lined it up really strategically. We said, this month, we're teaching you how to write a follow-up sequence for all of the new leads that you're generating. So basically, everybody in the membership by Friday, or I'm sorry, the challenge by Friday, if they had followed the steps, they were bringing leads into their email system. And we were like, well, what are you doing with those leads? Let us show you. So we were really strategic about that. That was our first step, was a paid challenge. We had 246 people pay $10 to be in the challenge, and we had 50 people convert from the challenge to the membership.
Wow. So where did the 246 people come from primarily? Was it your email list? Did you run ads for it?
Pretty much organic. It was pretty much organic from our email list, from social media. And then we did like a little affiliate contest that anybody who joined the membership or the challenge could have an affiliate link, and the top referrer would get a 30-minute call with me. I want to say like 25-ish of the leads came from there. Less than 15% came from affiliate. 84% came from organic, and like 1% from advertising. So if you remember back in October when Facebook like went down for 24 hours and everyone was like, the world is ending. We started ads the day before it went down. They were super wacky. Then Facebook went down for a day. Then we tried to run them again and we just could not get them dialed in. And we asked around and everyone was like, yeah, ads are really weird right now. So we were just, unfortunate timing. We just couldn't get the ads to work where we wanted them to. So it was a majority organic promotion.
Do you ever do where you do a promotion to get in to the membership where it's like, hey, you can buy the challenge course, where you anchor a course that's in the membership with like, hey, you can buy this for whatever price?
So yes, we have in a unique way. So we have something called the Challenge Launch Toolkit, which is a $37 low ticket offer that basically teaches you how to run a 5-day challenge. Well, in January, we did a completely free 5-day challenge. We ended up bringing in 123 members in January. And I promise I know your question. I will answer it. But contextually, we did this challenge in January. Well, we had an affiliate pop in January that said, this is like one of the best challenges I've been in. It's like, it was Tuesday or Wednesday. And she's like, I'm going to share this with my people. And we reached out to her and said, well, if you're going to share it anyway, do you want to be an affiliate? And then after that, we were like, you did so great. Like we ended up getting, I want to say 20 some odd sales from the affiliate out of 125 or 123. And we were like, okay, do you want to like do something for your audience? Cause like they're clearly interested in the offer. And she said, yeah, totally. Let's do it. So we set up a joint venture webinar where we taught how we just ran the launch. And then we said, hey, if you want the toolkit, we'll give it to you for free now through Tuesday if you join the membership. So we actually did like here's a free course when you join the membership in this given time. Plus she had affiliate bonuses, which always helps.
Sure.
But I want to say that in that launch, we had an 8.2% conversion rate on the whole thing. Sorry, I know I'm lighting up. If you're watching on video, that's because I'm switching tabs. But yeah, we ended up having an 8.2% conversion rate and 25% of people went annual. And it was super light, super simple. And it was just like, hey, this is what we just did. So I'm like a huge fan of like, call it inception marketing, where I'm like, oh, you want to know how I just did this? I'll give you all the details and you can keep working with me. And people seem to love that.
I love it. So how often are you doing the promotions to get in? Again, people can get in at any time. Yep. They go to your website or whatever, and they can, or join your email list and they can get in. But how often are you doing the promotions? Because that's a big question that so many people have is like, all right, I'm going to evergreen this, but I also still want to do, launches or promos or whatever throughout the year, which is what I talk about here in the show. Like, how often are you doing them?
We've done 4 in the first 7 months, and now we're going to slow down a little bit to like 1 to 2 a quarter, which I guess isn't really slowing down all that much. We want to do a paid challenge every quarter, but then we're also setting up some evergreen systems. So we passively pick up a few members from time to time. It's not a huge volume, but we are like really hammering lead generation. And in our lead generation funnel, we basically promote an automated webinar a couple times. We actually changed it now to, instead of like really pushing the membership, we really push the podcast because we talk about the membership on the podcast all the time. And that's been great for the podcast, but we have the evergreen systems, and then we want to do at least a quarterly challenge. Plus we'll probably do some like pop-up promotions where we're like, oh, come join the membership this week and get this, or have you checked out the membership yet? Or an email blast, monthly to our automated webinar to the brand new people on the list, that kind of stuff. But our primary promotions are 1 or 2 a quarter is our goal.
So I think the key to that's really important for people to understand as you're talking about that is lead generation. And you do an amazing job of building a relationship with the people in your community, meaning both on your email list, obviously, and in your membership. But you are so clear about what your values are, what you are okay with and what you're not okay with, that you do a great job of attracting people who align with you.
Yeah.
And that in turn allows you to just develop that much deeper relationship with people on your email list. What is there anything else to that? Because it sounds so simple, but yet so many people don't do that. It's just like, I'll take anybody. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think getting super clear on who I wanted to work with came down to having done this for, 7 years now. I've been running this current business for 7 years, and it's kind of like you pick up who you want to work with along the way. And for me, the ideal customer avatar of like, oh, my ideal customer is Jenny and she drives a Lexus and she lives in New York, and she really loves eating at, steakhouse. Like that never worked for me. I was more like, how do people feel? What do people want to experience? And when I changed it to that, everything else became a lot clearer. So like when I say my person makes, 1,000 to 5,000 a month, well, that's just from having done this for so long. I know that's where most of my audience is right now. I think that clarity is just something that you gain over time by casting a small net and letting it expand. So like when I started, I was like, I work specifically with course creators that want to run ads for their launch, and that's it. That's what this course is. And now it's become a breadth of work where it's like, I know the person and I know what they need. And so I create the content in that capacity.
So I love that. It sort of feels, what I'm picking up throughout this whole conversation is that this membership feels light and easy to you.
Yeah.
And so let's go back to what we were talking about earlier as far as what are the deliverables once somebody joins. You mentioned obviously the content, but they get a community and coaching and so forth. So let's outline what those deliverables are. And then what is your role in delivering on the deliverables versus what your team is delivering?
Yeah. So we have a 4-phase monthly process that we go through. Phase 1 is an action plan. So we drop a PDF, a video, a training of some kind that we want you to be able to get through in under 30 minutes that is specifically on our topic of the month. Second deliverable is we do an action plan live call. So to get really specific, this month was copywriting. So we did a 20-minute video on like copywriting crash course. Here are my 5 favorite ways to come up with copy. And then for our live action call, we actually brought members on and said, what kind of copy do you want to create? Social media, email, ad copy. What's your niche? And then we did copy research and creation together, which was super fun. So it's like the action plan, then supplemental or interactive content. Then we do an implementation week. This is my favorite part of the membership because I feel like so many memberships are like, here's the content for the month. Good luck. Once a month, we do 5 days in a row. We drop one small action you can do in under 15 to 20 minutes. That if you do it every day for 5 days, generally, there's a couple exceptions, but generally, you'll have executed on the content for the month and basically leveraged it into your business. And then I call it coffee, coaching, and conversations, which I always joke we should rename it because I gave up coffee at the beginning of the year. I know it's blasphemy to most people, but
however, let's be honest here.
I was at 8 cups a day,
8
give or
cups a
take.
day.
So it was definitely needed. But we just it's like an open Q&A call. So coaching and conversations. So it's very casual. I generally show up in like a hoodie, sometimes a beanie when my hair is really messy. I just roll into the office and we just hang out and chat, and we really get to learn from our members. And that's phenomenal because our members, a lot of them are trying to get access to coaching and don't have the budget for like a one-on-one coach. But it's great for me because people are literally like, here are my struggles. And we get so many podcast episodes, so much copy intel, so much benefit that we're never going, oh, what should we cover in the membership next? I'm like, oh, this is what we're going to cover in the membership next because this is clearly where people are stuck. So that's the format. Plus, then we have an online community. We're off of Facebook. We use what's called Circle. It's almost like a Facebook-y style forum, and we really love that because some people say they want to be on Facebook. We actually surveyed, and like 50% of people were like, no, stay on Facebook. But then you have terrible reach. And then in the same breath, people will be like, oh, I don't even like Facebook. So we just made the decision to not be on Facebook. best decision we've made. So much
Yeah.
less noise, so much easier to deal with. Engagement's definitely lower than when we run a Facebook group for sure, but our members tell us that they really enjoy the platform.
Do you have, just random thought, do you have notifications turned on?
For Circle?
Or not you? Do you encourage your members to turn on notifications for Circle so that when there's an important update, they get a notification?
We can, so the nice thing about Circle is we can choose when they're going to get a notification via email.
Oh, okay.
So we don't, there is an app, but we don't encourage people to necessarily turn on notifications. The cool thing about Circle is that it's very Facebook looking. So there's like a little bell at the top and you can just click on it and see all of your active notifications. So,
Gotcha.
And then there's a central news feed that is chronological where if they just log in, they can just scroll through and see all the new activity. But then there are they call them groups, but they're sub forums basically where you can go and see what people are saying and like our community feedback forum, our ads feedback forum, our wins and successes forum, we've got a bunch and now I'm going to space on all of them, but we have little subsections that people can check in on individually.
So you're bringing a lot of people. There's people are loving, like I'm loving, like just learning more about what you're doing in there, who it's for, and the type of content that it's in there. But we do need to address the big issue,
the churn
rate. You've got a fairly high churn rate. So I know this is something that you and I are working on and the other Accelerator members are chiming in on too, as far as, all right, let's lower this churn rate because at this rate, it's not sustainable.
100%.
Right? So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So just to give you some metrics, our first month that we finished, our churn was at 21. Well, I guess it would be our second month because your churn, you need the end month. But the first month that we calculated churn, we had lost 21.24% of members. So basically 1 in 5 people said deuces, which was great. We were really excited about that. Actually, we didn't care because I wasn't even looking at churn until the last month and a half, if I'm being totally honest. But then what we noticed was that as new content dropped, the churn came down. So we started at about 21, we dropped down to about 17.6, dropped down again to 14.5, dropped down again to about 9.7. And that was after we hadn't done any launches. So what we noticed is that when we launch, your churn goes up, which kind of makes sense. You bring in a ton of new people in, super cheap. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, I just want to check it out. And then they kind of figure out if they're really a great fit or not. It's like one of those things where you can tell people all day long till you're blue in the face, this is not for you. But until they buy it and go in and be like, oh, this wasn't for me. And you're like, yeah, I know. We had a couple people who were in e-commerce and we're like, it really doesn't help e-commerce brands. And they were like, I bet it will. And they canceled, because it's not going.
Sure.
But then in the last couple months, our churn went up again to like 14.8%. And then March, it's kind of hard to tell, but we're at a 5.5% churn on March 15th. So I would estimate it'll be right around 10%. So like, I don't want to be at 10%. I want to be closer to 6 to 7. But compared to starting at 21.4 and now we're down to like a 10% churn, like there's definitely some clear improvements, but it's still high, right? Yeah. So it requires a couple things. One, it means that we are constantly having to bring new people in, which is inconvenient. But it also means that there's lots of room for improvement. So we have started a onboarding process. So we're in the process of writing onboarding emails that come out on a weekly basis for all new members every single week that are like, here's what I would do next. Here's what you should check out in the membership, encouraging them to check into certain places and leave certain comments. So we're working on that. We also created a 90-day action plan, which we immediately saw the churn drop the following month. That we want to integrate into like videos and something a little more interactive. But what it is right now is quite simply like you log in, you download a PDF and it says week 1, do this, week 2, do this, week 3, do this. It obviously needs to be a little more robust, but that has helped. And then we also we noticed that our churn started dropping when we started doing a weekly member roundup, which we were inspired from the membership guys. We're in a membership on membership. And they do a weekly email that's like, here's what's happening in the forum. Here's what people are saying. Here's the wins people are getting. Here's the spotlight. Here's what we released. Here's what's coming up. So every week, I think sometimes there's, and this is just my kind of inference, is that people cancel things when they sit on them for 2 or 3 months and then go, I'm still paying for that, versus seeing the value every week. It's like, yeah, I'm sure that sparks people. Like, we know because we get the cancels right after those come out. Sure, it sparks people to cancel, but it sparks the diehards to be like, oh yeah, there's still stuff happening. There's still value in this community. So those are our 3 big initiatives to decrease churn. And we're also trying to increase engagement, though that's a big struggle because we're not on the Facebook platform. You don't naturally every day log in to the platform and go, oh, this is great. But they do have an iPhone app, and that has been helping us get more people to engage. We're encouraging people to download the app as well. But overall, it's just a process. And we're like, when we do our metrics, we assume a 10% churn every month. We've actually bumped it up a little bit just to be safe. But when we bring new people in, we actually project what is the 4-month return, the 6-month return, the 2-month return, so that when we're going in, we're not saying like, oh, did we make money? We're projecting, okay, let's say we lose 10 people a month. And then anything that improves that is gravy. And anything that doesn't improve that, we're not sitting here going like, man, we weren't expecting to lose 10% of people this month. Like we know those numbers. And I think there's an element of just like making peace with that fact. Like, not everyone's perfect for you all the time. And that's okay.
Yeah.
There's seasons. Yeah. We have people leave the membership all the time that say like, it's just not perfect right now, but I'm going to be back. And we do have people come back. Even in the first 7 months, we've had people leave and come back. So, that tells us we've got strong content and we just need to work on engagement and retention.
So when when people leave, are you asking them why they chose not to continue?
Yes. We have what we call, we do something a little different with our membership, which is that we do a 30-day refund. So most memberships are like, oh, if you cancel, it's no risk because we're just going to cancel you, no future charges. And we kind of said, was that really no risk? Because you risk the money. So we said for the first 30 days, you get a refund. After that, you're not eligible for a refund on future renewals. Same thing with the annual 30-day. But then we have what we call the 2-click cancellation policy. So if you log into your membership, you can click billing and cancellation, enter your name and email, and click submit, and you can cancel. When you do that, we say, optionally, would you like to tell us why you're canceling? You do not have to tell us. This does not affect, we will not reach out to you and basically like, if you say like, I'm just so busy, we're not going to send you an email that's like, I get that you're busy, but let me tell you how this is going to save you more time.
Here's a time management course.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So we don't do any of that. We just collect the data, but most people say time. Most people say that they're just trimming expenses. And a lot of people just say like, it's just not a great fit for me right now, which tells us that we need to refine our messaging on the sales page. Like when I talk about the membership, we get great people. When I passively promote it or send people to the sales page, they're not getting the full picture of what it is. And so we also know, kind of talking about churn a little bit, that we could probably benefit from refining the messaging of the sales process too.
And that's one thing that we're working on in Accelerator, is that we've identified like exactly what you just said, because I mean, I've told, like, I think this is such a great concept of a membership and what you're delivering and how you deliver it. And I hear all the time, like your challenge course, for example, $37, and people are like, oh my God, like this is, the value of this is way more than $37. And it's not just that course for you. It's like all what you put out there has that feel to it.
Yep.
It's very well priced. The value of it is much, much higher. And so, I mean, thank you for being open about the churn rate, because for everybody listening, to put it in context, for a membership, you kind of really want to be ideally at that 5% or less on a churn for your membership for long-term sustainability. Now, this is one thing that Zach and I have been talking about a lot as you see it dropping. And a big thing to remember too, the things that Zach just mentioned that he's doing, like an onboarding process, for example, or giving people a clear path. It's like, okay, you're going to do this, then this, et cetera. It takes time to see that come up in the churn rates. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then 2 weeks down the road, I'm going to see a difference in churn rate. We're going to do this. We're going to roll this out, test it, but we're not going to see any results from this for 120 days or so. But you are starting from 20-ish% and you've cut it in half and will continue to do so. As we start to wrap up, Zach, I know that people want to know, you teach ads, right? You and I have been doing ads for years and years and years. What is working for you right now when it comes to ads?
Oh my gosh, lead ads, which is we're obsessed with lead ads. So just for context, a lead ad is where people put their name and email on a form on Facebook instead of your website. We're obsessed with them. The CPMs, which is what you pay to run them, are so low. The click-through rates are high, and we kind of hypothesize that Facebook is rewarding you for keeping people on the platform. Obviously, they would probably never own that. But we get phenomenal results. We are getting leads for I haven't checked our campaign this morning, but we're averaging like $1.50 to $2 a lead in the B2B space for online course creators, very specifically. And it's crushing.
Which is very low,
yeah,
by the way.
Super low.
But wait, I got to jump in. Aren't they crap email addresses because they're auto-populating?
So good. Oh my gosh, the emails are so good. Our open rate is like 30%, which is we know that's slightly inflated since iOS 15, but we compared our open rate has been at 30% for months. It's not dropping. And if you had crap leads, even with iOS 15, you would start to see your open rate decline. Click-through rates on the follow-up sequence average 5 to 10%. Open rate on email number 1 averages 40 to 60%, even when we deliver the freebie without having them check their email. So one of the things we do with lead ads that's really unique to the space is we don't say your freebie is on its way to your inbox, right? We say click here to get your freebie, and they can download it instantly, and we still get a 50% open rate on the here's your freebie email.
Yeah.
They just crush it for us. And I can't say enough good things. They can be a little daunting because you need third-party software to connect Facebook to your CRM. But there are so many software options out there now that are ridiculously simple to use now. We added 3,000 people to our email list from November 30th to December 31st. We did a sprint to see if we could hit 3,000 in 30 days, and we did. And it was insane. And now we spend about $200-ish. I would say 100 to 200. It varies depending on how much promotion we're doing and what's working, but $100 to $200 a day on lead generation. We're just constantly pumping leads in because the biggest trend in advertising, for launching, is it's not you used to be able to just be oh, my launch is in 10 days. I'm just going to spend $10,000 on ads and 10x my money. Now it's it's not about that 10 days. It's about the 100 days leading up to that. And so our thing is the best thing this membership has done for us is we have the agency side of things. We have the membership side of things. We have the coaching program. I have told my team point blank, once everything's paid for and you're paid and I'm paid and everybody's happy, we make no additional money because we're driving leads into our business. That's great. As long as everybody's paid, bills are paid, contractors, software, all that, I'm cool to have a lower profit margin because at the end of first off, taxes, right? We love showing a low profit margin on paper. But 2, because I know the next launch is going to be even bigger if I just keep pushing leads into my business. We've seen podcast growth. We've seen engagement growth. We've seen sales growth. Everything just grows when you're always growing your list. And I think it's just a really, we hear the money is in your list, but I think the money is in the leads and the nurturing.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give some quick context as we wrap up, what I was joking about, aren't the email addresses crap? Historically, with the lead ads, right? And this is a big, source of confusion for so many people. When you go in to set up your ad campaign in Ads Manager, at the campaign level, you're choosing your objective, and a lot of people think well, I want to grow my email list or I want opt-ins or whatever. So they click leads versus conversions. Conversions is where they're taking, I think it's, what do they call it? Sales now?
Yeah, they call it sales now.
Yeah, they're taking you off. You click on the ad and you go to your landing page outside of Facebook, which then gets into the whole Pixel and iOS 14.5 and all that fun stuff. But then with lead ad, where it says leads, with lead ads, that's where the whole experience takes place within the ad unit itself. You're not leaving Facebook or Instagram And you can set it so that it pre-populates the person's name and email address that they're using within Facebook. Years ago, it used to be, the quality of you used to get good lead costs, but the quality of lead was crap because it was auto-populating their email address, and it was like their Facebook email address, which was like a throwaway email address, basically. Yep. But yeah, I mean, we're about to start testing that on a few different things. And you've been talking about it a lot. Also, just like my own behavior on Instagram, for example, I will tell you that the past, I don't know, I've just opted into like 6 different things in the past couple of weeks when we're recording this. Every single one of them is a lead ad, and it's seamless. It's happening right within the ad unit. And yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Facebook is rewarding, but it's also a solution for, this is first party data, meaning it's all happening within Facebook, has nothing to do with the pixel. You can still build retargeting audiences of people who are interacting with the ad unit itself, et cetera.
Yeah, the retargeting options are bananas because you can target people who have opened the form, submitted the form, or didn't submit the form. So you can basically create custom audience of every potential outcome and then retarget them with new offers, low ticket offers, all kinds of cool stuff.
Not affected by the pixel.
Unaffected by the pixel, like 90+% accuracy.
Cool. All right. Where can people connect with you? Where can they join your membership? Where can they listen to your podcast? All of good stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to connect with me, the best place is over on Instagram at Heart Soul Hustle. I know it's not the name of the podcast. Maybe one day. Our podcast is the Not Your Average Online Marketing Podcast. We drop a new episode every Thursday. Very tactical, very action-oriented, very things you can test and implement in your business. And if you want to join the membership, you can head over to join.notyouraverage.com. You can check it out there. And Rick, I'm sure you will link it all up in the show notes.
I'll link it up in the show notes for today's episode.
Yeah.
Zach, my man, thank you so much for coming on here. Super appreciate you. Love what you're doing. And I look forward to having you back on the show to, a little bit down the road here to see where things are at with the membership, churn rate, et cetera, because people, my listeners love to hear updates on from a case study perspective on what's happening. So look forward to having you back on the show.
I'll be back.
Awesome. Hey, my friends, if you are an established online course creator and or coach, or maybe you're a teacher entrepreneur and you want to be growing and scaling your online business to the next level, whatever that next level looks like for you, but maybe you're feeling stuck in your business. You're not really sure what next steps to take, things to be doing in your business in order to grow and scale your business. Maybe you're doing all the things and you're feeling overwhelmed. And maybe you're heading towards burnout, right? Maybe you just want to plan on how to grow your business without working longer and harder. Well, that is exactly what we help you do inside of our Accelerator coaching program. This is about helping you create more profit, more impact with less hustle. Because my friend, this is not about working more hours, longer hours, and harder, etc. Right? This is about helping you get unstuck so that you stop spinning your wheels and you are creating the business that is ideal for you and helping the kind of people that you want to help while generating the revenue and profit that you want to be generating. If this sounds like something you're interested in, this is one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and a mastermind experience where we give you a growth plan that you follow step by step for your specific business. This is personalized coaching, right? And you're also surrounded by support, other coaching from the other members, and accountability. That is what embodies our Accelerator coaching program. This is application only, and it is rolling, ongoing open enrollment. This is not open close, right? So if you want to learn more and apply, just go to rickmulready.com/accelerator. All right, my friends, thank you as always for tuning into the episode here today. Super appreciate you. Until next time, be well, and I'll chat with you soon.